Lemieux, and I just want to introduce a new topic for this little YouTube channel for the entire next year that's coming up. This year has been entitled by our Pope Benedict XVI, the Year of Faith. And he's asked for the Church Universal, the Church throughout the world, to center a lot on a deeper understanding of our Catholic faith, and especially how that faith applies to our everyday life, and therefore a living of the faith. So, in order to commemorate the Year of Faith, we'll be doing a lot of cool stuff here at Holy Rosary and in this Archdiocese, the Archdiocese of Kansas City in Kansas. But here in our own little youth group world, I would like to just go over periodically this little book. Whoops, here it is, 100 Things Every Catholic Teen Should Know, by Hart and Todd Lemieux. Of course, I'll be giving a copy of this to all of our high school youth group members, so stand by for that. But in the meantime, I just want to be able to talk about and explain some of the great teachings that are found in this book. So for today, I'm just going to give a little introduction to the project and to the book, some of the topics that we're going to be discussing for our faith life, to know it better, to embrace it deeper, and then to live it, of course, more and more. I don't know about you guys, but when I was young, my mom would take me to the library, and I would sit down for story time, and I really liked that. And at night, she would also read me stories. We do that with our own kids, which is great. So it's going to kind of be like a story time. The great thing about this book is that it does have 100 very frequently asked questions that really encompass our faith. But they're very short. They're concise. And so here's one: how tradition works. And so there it is. It's one page, and you can read it and understand it. The idea is to have an overview and not really an in-depth study. So that's what we're going to be doing now. I'd like to start out. I'll show you guys a couple of the topics that we're going to be discussing. So I think probably we're going to start out with the section on morality, because morality is such a very, very important part of our faith life that as Catholics, we really embrace a beautiful and wonderful freedom-giving moral tradition, and it's one that's constantly under attack, and so we really have to defend it a lot and live it more and more. So we're going to start out with that. Here's some of the questions in the section on morality. What is human dignity? Why is life so sacred? What is social justice? That's a big fundamental part of our Catholic faith. What's the deal with stem cell research? Standing up for your faith, the Ten Commandments, the Beatitudes, which are the work of the Church. What is the just war doctrine? What is the Church's teaching on homosexuality? What's the Church teaching on abortion? What about forgiveness? What is chastity? How about judging others? What is the Church teaching on the death penalty, on contraception, and pornography? So as you can see, some really intense issues that we really need to talk about, we really need to address. From that section, I'll probably skip back to the one of the very first sections of this book, which is entitled The Existence of God. I know that in my own life, as a younger person, sometimes I would ask some of those more deep fundamental questions, like, why is there suffering in the world if God is completely good? Then how is it possible that there is so much evil? How do I make sense of that? So anyway, this section entitled The Existence of God asks questions like, is God real? There's a statement, really: God isn't playing games. The struggle with faith and doubt. What is God's nature like? What is the point and purpose of free will? And what are some modern lies about Christianity? From there, I'll probably switch to one of my personal favorite topics, which is the topic of prayer. Young people, I think, a lot wonder what is prayer and how do I pray, and how do I know when God is trying to communicate to me or love me or speaking to me. And these are so fundamental, so important for us to answer. And I meet a lot of adults who struggle with prayer, and I think that's just unfortunately a given. So we'll be talking a lot about Catholic prayer in this section of prayer. Here's some of the topics there. Why do we pray? What is prayer? What are some different forms of prayer? What's the Rosary? What's Lectio Divina? What are novenas? What's adoration? What's silence? How can we fight distractions during our prayer? So good and wonderful topics. I'll probably then move to a section called Miscellaneous, which takes up the topic of holy days. Why do Catholics have the crucifix and not just the cross? 666 as the devil's digits. What is the meaning of that? What about some modern heresies? And here's a question about Catholicism and the media. Why does Catholicism usually take such a bad rap in the media today? Here's a great one of my favorites, the truth about Ouija boards and New Age spirituality. So important for us to talk about. Another good question about angels and demons. What is your purpose in life? And then being Catholic and fitting in. Now there's some other great topics, and we're going to need to cover those as well. Topics like the sacraments, the Mass, Jesus Christ and salvation, the Church, and a deeper understanding of the Church. But we'll get to all that, hopefully. I just wanted to give a brief introduction to this great year of faith, which is set to begin in October, on the 50th anniversary of the opening of the Second Vatican Council, which of course opened in 1962. I'll be saying a few things about that, and the importance of this year of faith for the whole Church and for the world. So the Pope, he's behind us, encouraging us to take our faith seriously, to learn it more, and to live it as we should be. So let's do that, and let's begin this new catechesis in faith with God's help.